Mrs. Ibi, you are the mother of Miss Patricia, a 16 years old child who is currently being charged for murder. Yes, and from our findings, she's psychologically down, and we could relate this to child abuse. And you claim to know nothing about abusing her. What would you have to say about this?
I have nothing to say.
So we're calling for the state to take the lead on this. My lord, I will now explain to the prosecutor what it means to abuse the child. Madam and everyone gathered here, child abuse, according to WHO, is the physical, emotional ill treatment of a child. It can also be sexual abuse, neglect, commercial or other forms of exploitation for financial gain, which may or result to actual harm of the child's health, survival, development, or dignity in content to relationship responsibility, trust, and power. This includes physical abuse, we have sexual abuse, psychological abuse, and neglect. Physical abuse is actually when you inflict physical injuries on the child by beating the child or spanking the child. Sometimes it can go as far as using hard objects on the child to make the child physically handicapped. Sexual abuse, when you force a child to indulge in sexual, or should I say, sexual activities without the child's consent. Neglect, this is what some parents don't actually feel is a form of abuse, but this has a way of playing with the child emotionally, making the child feel inferior in most cases, and the child will not be able to communicate with the society very well. Yeah, you have this feeling of being alone, and sometimes they grow up with this, get married, and end up maybe abusing their child, like neglecting them the way their parents did, and this keeps going on and on and on. Psychological abuse is when the child has psychiatric problems. The child might end up being a bully and will be arrested as a juvenile in Mrs. Ibi's daughter's case, and the child also be arrested for other crimes that might not be murder. We have the physical abuse. Physical abuse would make the child a handicapped in most cases. I feel that's where most poverty cases come from. You not being able to use your full body to do what others do in the society. Then we have the sexual abuse, which may lead to the death of the child. In her daughter's case, she got pregnant, had an abortion, excessive bleeding, she lost her womb, and she killed the guy in the process. So these are the effects of child abuse in the society. Mrs. Ibi, I hope you've been able to understand what child abuse is. Thank you, my lord. I think I'll have to retreat now to my seat. In cases like this, I always urge the family to have a very strong relationship, because if your husband had left you, you would have done good to actually bring this girl up in a very good way, and this would not have led her to committing murder. You did a very bad job in bringing her up, and you did not even send her to a good school where she would have been taught about the good touch and the bad touch. If she was being taught about the good and the bad touch, she would not have gotten pregnant, which would have led her to lose her womb and go to kill the man in question. And God, I don't know. I would always urge government to actually bring a support group of child daycare, to just go from house to house to check how kids are faring. And to the general public, if you hear a child screaming, I'm not saying you should not poke nose into your neighbor's business, but if you hear a child screaming, you should do well to check what's actually happening. It's your business because you're staying in the same neighborhood with that person. Mrs. Ibi, I pronounce you guilty as charged, and you're hereby sentenced to 5 days imprisonment with hard labor.